What if one man's will could reshape a nation, forging an empire of steel and fear from the ashes of revolution? This is the story of Joseph Stalin, the man of steel who bent history to his command. Our story begins not in the gilded halls of power, but on the rugged streets of gory Georgia. Here, a boy named Joseph Jughashvili, scarred by poverty and a harsh upbringing, found his calling in the clandestine world of revolution. We see him as a young idealist, a poet turned Bolshevik, distributing pamphlets in the shadows and organizing strikes. His revolutionary fervor quickly caught the eye of the Tsar's secret police, leading to a cycle of arrests, imprisonments, and daring escapes from Siberian exile. Through it all, he hardened, adopting the name Stalin, Man of Steel. During the pivotal years of the Russian Revolution, he was a key organizer, but often remained in the background, a loyal, if underestimated figure standing just behind the towering presence of Vladimir Lenin. Following Lenin's death in 1924, a power vacuum emerged, and the shadows became Stalin's stage. He was no grand orator, like his rival, Leon Trotsky, but he was a master of the political game. Through cunning alliances and ruthless bureaucratic maneuvering, he isolated and eliminated his opponents one by one, consolidating absolute control over the Communist Party. With the reins of the Soviet Union firmly in his grasp, he launched his ambitious 5-year plans. Smoke-belching factories and colossal dams rose from the earth at a breathtaking pace, transforming a rural society into an industrial superpower. But this progress came at a horrific cost. In the countryside, Stalin's policy of forced collectivization met with fierce resistance. He crushed the peasantry, seizing their land and grain, leading to a devastating famine that claimed millions of lives, particularly in Ukraine. With his power now absolute, an era of unimaginable fear descended upon the land, the Great Terror. Paranoia became state policy. From the highest echelons of the party to the humble factory floor, no one was safe. Public show trials saw old Bolshevik heroes confess to ludicrous crimes before facing execution. Millions were arrested in the dead of night by the NKVD, destined for the brutal forced labor camps of the Gulag archipelago. In this frozen wasteland, they became slaves of the state, dying from starvation, exposure, and overwork. Presiding over this empire of terror was Stalin, a remote and godlike figure whose portrait hung in every home, his shadow stretching across every corner of the vast Soviet Union, a symbol of both creation and destruction. Just as his grip seemed unbreakable, a new external threat emerged. In June 1941, Hitler's army stormed across the border, catching Stalin completely by surprise. The initial invasion was a catastrophe, with the Red Army suffering staggering losses. But at the gates of a city bearing his own name, Stalingrad, the tide would turn. In a battle of unprecedented ferocity and bloodshed, the Soviet forces, driven by desperation and Stalin's iron will, encircled and annihilated the German Sixth Army. This victory marked the beginning of the end for the Third Reich. From the rubble of Stalingrad, the Red Army began its relentless march westward, a brutal 2-year advance that culminated in the raising of the Soviet flag over the ruins of Berlin. In the aftermath of the war, we see an aging Stalin, the victorious generalissimo, who had defeated fascism, but at the cost of tens of millions of his own people. He died in 1953, leaving behind a world forever altered, and a legacy of industrial might built on a foundation of immeasurable human suffering. This was the complex, brutal, and transformative reign of Joseph Stalin, a man who rose from obscurity to become one of history's most powerful and feared dictators, leaving a legacy as enduring as it is terrifying.